Good morning, guys. I am making a favorite dinner. This is oxtails. I have my veggies here, and this is the oxtail seasoning that I use. And so I'm gonna sit and chit chat with you guys while I chop up my vegetables and, cook. I'll chit chat with you guys while I'm doing that if y'all don't mind. I know you guys are probably wondering, why is it so quiet in your house? Where's the baby? Where's Viola? Well, Valerian is fast asleep. She is asleep, taking her mid-morning nap. And Viola is with her grandmother. My mother-in-law, she texted me over the weekend and was like, I'm sorry this is short notice, but can I have Viola on Tuesday? And I'm just like, and she's like, oh, I'll bake you a lasagna. I was like, psh, you ain't gotta do that. You ain't gotta bribe me to see your grandchild. Just let me know when you come in and how fast you gonna get here, okay? And so yeah, she came and got her this morning, and she spent a little bit of time with Valerian before she left, and they left. And so she's probably having a blast because my mother-in-law likes to like go to the library for toddler reading time, and we'll take her to the park, and my grandma, and she stays in Walmart, and so while I get to go back to Walmart, she just likes to just ride around in the shopping cart. So that's just her thing. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're having a good day. And so yeah, I decided to make oxtails because I hadn't had it in a long time, and the last oxtail dinner that I bought from this restaurant, the meat was so tough. And if you are a reasonable cook and you make oxtails, we all know that you cannot rush oxtails. You cannot rush it. You know, oxtails take hours to properly cook, where it's the meat is supposed to be falling off the bone. If you bite into some oxtails and that meat don't move, it's undercooked. And you know, if you've ever bought a oxtail dinner from any type of Caribbean restaurant, you know oxtails are very expensive, and the dinner is going to run you at least, oh, it's going to run you over $10. And if you get a large, you're going to pay almost $13-14 for a plate of oxtails. And for the meat to be like so tough, like for it not to be good, like that will piss you off. And it pissed me off, which is why I'm making my own oxtails. You know, you get tired of people screwing up your doggone food. What you do, you go home and you learn how to make it. And so yes, that's why I'm making oxtails, because I was so doggone mad, and I said to my husband, I will never eat there ever again in this lifetime. You know, you just got, and that was not the first time that I had gotten oxtails that were undercooked from them, and I gave them a second and a third chance, and they still screwed it up. And I'm just like, you know what, forget it. Next time we go grocery shopping, we're gonna plan for it, we're gonna budget for it, because oxtails are hell expensive. I paid $25 for like 5 pounds, and so oxtails are not cheap. And so it's like, it's you when you buy it, you know, you don't want it to go to waste. You know, you have to budget for it. And so yeah, so this morning after Viola left, I made some breakfast, got Valerian down, and I was sitting and I was listening to one of the YouTubers who I hadn't seen in a few months, and she had finally come back, and she made a video, and she was telling us about some struggles. And she's very, very private. Like, she really don't, you know, talk about like her personal business. And so for her to even share this part of her life, like, you could tell that she was really struggling. And she was saying that how she has 2 children, and she was having an issue with her daughter. And her daughter is, you know, elementary school age, and she just had a second child, and her daughter was having a hard time adjusting to having a new sibling, and not just with the new sibling situation, just dealing with an attitude. And people always say, oh, with girls, wait till they're sweet until they turn 12 or 13 and they start with the attitude. No, ma'am. Sometimes that attitude, it springs up early because it's just something that they inherit. And like I always joke and tell y'all, Viola is a concentrated version of myself, because I've learned with a lot of discipline to control certain aspects of my attitude. And I think a lot, like whenever I'm in a situation where I know I can go to jail, like whenever I'm in a situation, like the consequences flash through my eyes before anything else does. Like, for instance, I had a horrible neighbor, and I had a neighbor. She wasn't a horrible neighbor. She had horrible grandkids. She was a great neighbor, fantastic neighbor, but her grandkids they were horrible. And the young lady, her granddaughter, was just like this teenage nightmare, like 15, wild, sexually active, with not just boys but girls. And I had known the young lady since she was like 3 or 4, and her mother died when she was like 12, like really, really at a really critical point in her development. Her mother died, and she just went completely wild. And her grandmother could not control her, and it was getting to the point where she wasn't going to school. I had tried to mentor her, but her attitude was so nasty. Like, you're gonna help me with my homework? No, you're gonna do my homework. And I'm like, no, sweetheart, honey, I don't do anybody's homework but mine. And so if you think you here for me to do your homework, you can go back next door. And so she took her ass back next door. And ever since then, she had an attitude with me because I wouldn't do her homework. And so, and it started to get to the point where I just would ignore her, because her grandmother would come over and vent about her granddaughter and all of the terrible things that she was doing: smoking weed, skipping school, having sex in her bed. Okay. And so, nightmare, and what can I say? I tried to help her out, but the girl is too far gone for me to even, deal with. And I don't have to, so I would just listen. And then when I would see the young lady, I would just like see through her. Like, I didn't acknowledge her existence. And she's very attention driven. She's a teenager. She wants to be acknowledged in some way, shape, or form. And I just didn't want to acknowledge her, because she, how she was doing her grandmama, like, oh girl. And so it got to a point where she would use her company. The young lady would use her company. Like, she would invite either her girlfriend or her little boyfriend over, and they would sit in front of my door, not in front of hers, but in front of their door, and like do little, make snide remarks or whatever. And I'm grown, very much so grown, and I don't, I've dealt with that type of stuff, and I'm the master at ignoring folk, because I'm not gonna give you what you want. You want a reaction, and you're not gonna get one. And so it got to the point where, like, I was just getting tired of it, and she was just kept trying to egg me on, and it got to the point where I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to give you what you want. And so they were becoming a nuisance, and one of their little cousins, he was selling drugs out of the apartment, because the grandmother had met some older guy at bingo and had gotten married and moved out. And since her grandson was like 19, she was just like, you know what, y'all could stay in here, because she didn't want to deal with them. She got married and she didn't want to deal with the kids, so she was just like, listen, take care. Your sister's 15. you know, you're 19. Got he had a little job and he was going to the local community college. She was like, take care of your sister. Y'all stay in the apartment and y'all just be cool. Oh no, honey. As soon as that old lady moved out of that apartment, it was time to turn up, honey. They were just fighting constantly, like the music loud, smoking weed all times. I mean, just doing all kinds of stuff all times of the day and night. And they couldn't come in and out of the door regularly. No, they had to slam the door. Bam, bam, bam. That's all you heard. Just, and they right next door. And Viola's bedroom, we live in a duplex, so Viola's bedroom faces the street. So every single time they slam the door, the windows rattle, the pictures rattle. And not only that, they sit and argue. And the foulest language you have ever heard. They sit in front of your window and F you this, bitch this, MF this, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, OMG. It was ridiculous. And their little cousin, their other cousin, he was like 19, 20, young guy, would sit in the backyard. And I always, since we have a gas, stove and all that, I keep the windows cracked, you know. And he would sit back there and he would smoke the whole backyard up, and it would come into my house. It would just be, my whole kitchen would smell like weed, my bedroom would smell like weed, everything would smell like weed. And then my last straw was when I saw him selling drugs. And when I saw him selling drugs, I said, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of them. And it was one day, and I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know if I was gonna call the police. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And so one day my husband, he was going to, I guess he wanted to get something to eat, and I told him to just drop me off and I would go in the house. And so he dropped me off, and as soon as I got out of the car, I saw the congregants congregating on the porch. I was like, oh frig me. You know how you just don't want to walk through a group of assholes who they gonna say, because they do it all the time, and I've never said anything, but today I was like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I've been keeping my mouth shut because I'm grown and I don't fight with children. And you know, because every time you walk past, they say something slick to you. Oh my god, it was just like, and she had her company, and this time she had one of her girlfriends, and who's, of course, all of her significant others are much older than she is, and so she gonna use them to do her dirty work, because she not gonna say nothing. She gonna use them to talk, because you know, we're on the same level, because they grown, I'm grown, but I'm way much growner than they are. They just been adults for like 2.5 seconds, yeah. And so she didn't say anything, but she had the little girl, her little girlfriend, make remarks or whatever, and I didn't say a word, didn't crack a smile, pretended like I did not hear a thing. Okay? And inside, I wanted to punch her right in the face. Like, I really want to get her. I really want. I'm from Miami, honey. We don't, you know, all that lip service, all that slick rapping, you would get your teeth knocked out your mouth. But being an adult, being a married woman, knowing that that felony would prevent my ass from working anywhere, and I'm not gonna spend 5 years in college and end up with a felony on my record behind your little ass. And so I'm just like, whew. All that flash, the handcuffs, sitting in jail, the judge, it all, in those few seconds, all of that flashed before my eyes. And I said, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. The very next day, I went to my landlord and I said, that old lady that lives next door to me, she moved out. She got them little kids in there. The boy is 19. However, the little girl, they in there selling dope, doing dope, drinking, smoking. They're becoming a nuisance. Can you inquire about what's going on over there? Well, they went to the apartment the same day that I made the complaint, under the guise of checking the smoke alarm. And when they opened the door, it was like whoosh, weed. And they do not allow drugs or anything. And they got caught red-handed. The whole apartment was full of dope. And they got caught and they got evicted, honey. Evicted. And I was like, That's grown people. That's what you do when you're grown. Like, I'm not gonna fight you, I'm not gonna cuss you out, I'm not gonna do anything. And that's what I was trying to tell you, suppressed. And I mean, my true self would have been in so much trouble, you understand what I'm saying, by going off on that girl and doing what I really want to do, pop her and her friend. But it's not worth it, because I would lose more than they would. Like, they would be embarrassed and be hurt for a little bit, but I'm the one that would end up with the felony, and it's not worth it. And so I just went to the landlord and I got their ass evicted. Well, they got themselves evicted because they got caught with dope in the house. So, you know, deuces to that. And so now I have neighbors that I barely see. I think they're on probation because I saw the probation officer coming in and out. And yeah, they walk a straight line. I don't never see my new neighbors. And so yeah, and so that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to teach Viola to be an adult that does not react to everything. Viola reacts to everything. If I tell her no, she will scream and fall out on the floor. If she asks me for something and I'm doing something with the baby, she will purposely, like for instance, she was eating cereal the other day. I was feeding Valerian. Viola was like, "Mommy, I want you to talk to me, Mommy." And I was like, "Viola, I'm doing something right now." The girl took the bowl of milk and poured it all over herself so that I would get up and clean it. Really? And she do that all the time. Did I whoop her for it? No, I did not. I had to talk. I'm trying to talk to her. Now with the potty training, I did not want to go into it because she was around. And even though Viola, she speaks well, she understands a lot more than what she says. And I didn't want to steal her shine from finally being potty trained. But it took us 8 months. And I know a lot of y'all gave me a bunch of advice, and none of it worked until she wanted it to work. She was not going to use the bathroom until she wanted to. And I had to pop her on her little butt, you know, because it was just getting ridiculous, because she was starting to become indignant. Okay? "Mommy, I boo-boo. You need to change me." Excuse me? Yeah? Go. What? You need to change. I just, Viola, why you didn't sit on the potty? I can't want to. And this has been going on for 8 months. 8 months. And I'm just like, if you could come in here and tell me to change you, like, dude, I boo-boo, let's go, come change me. And that's how she was doing me. And I'm just like, woosah. You know, and I'm trying so hard to be patient, and in that instance I had to pop her on her butt. And when I spanked her, the very next day she was just like, "Mommy, I got a boo-boo." Sat on the potty, been boo-booing ever since. Sunday she went number 2 3 times back to back to back with no problem. This morning she woke up with a dry pull-up and her potty was full of pee. She got up in the middle of the night, and I haven't even taught the girl that yet. Y'all pray for me, you know. And she, you know, she is not going to do, she does things when she wants to do it. And even though that's fine, in certain instances you cannot do that all the time. And I'm trying to teach her, when people tell you to do something, you have to do it. You have to listen. I always tell her all the time, "Viola, you're not listening," you know, because I'm trying to teach the girl, you cannot go to these people's schoolhouse and be like, "I ain't listening to you today. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to play with the play. I'm going to play with the toys while you teaching. And you ain't going to make me sit down, because I don't want to sit down. And if you try to make me sit down, I'm going to scream and holler." Like, you cannot do that. They're going to put you out. They're going to put you out. And so I'm trying, and, you know, spanking is the last resort, because let me tell you something, you know, spanking is the last resort for me, because of how I grew up. Like, we behave because we were beat mercifully into submission. Okay, I'm a conformist because I just don't, I can assess, because even as a child, you can kind of tell the climate. I'm extremely perceptive. And a lot of people think that I'm shy when they first meet me, because when I'm in a group, when I walk into a group setting, I don't say anything. I observe and I watch. And I can tell, okay, yeah, you're an asshole. I'm not messing with you. You kind of cool. Okay, cool. People are their true selves when they don't think that you're watching. But anyway, aside from all of that, when it comes to spanking, I try to be very, very fair and by the book according to the law. I pop her 3 times on her little bubble butt. That is spanking for me. When I was coming up, it was a production, and see, the thing that I hated about my mom was that she was calculating, she was manipulative, and she, just for a lack of a better way to even explain it, used to just screw with your head. She would screw with your head. If you did something wrong out in public, she would be like, you know what, when we get home, I'm gonna beat you. And so the entire time, she would literally wait the entire day, and all you have in the back of your mind as a child is that this lady says she gonna beat me. We don't know when it's coming. I don't know when she gonna beat me, but she gonna beat me. And she always picked the worst time to get you, either in the tub while you're soaking wet with a belt. Okay, have you ever got a whooping soaking wet? Yeah. Okay, or when you're fast asleep. Have you ever been drugged out of your bed by your feet and beat? Now, if y'all tell me that's not child abuse, I don't know what else is. Because I had some lady in the comments, and I didn't really too much get back with her, because I don't know what she meant, because in written text you really can't tell the texture and the tone of what people are really trying to convey, and I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. But the way that I took the comment was that, I'm being a bad example because I'm not giving my mother a second chance. And I'm like, you don't even know who you're defending. Like, I've been through, like, have you ever been beat with a paddle? Like, those those black fraternity paddles? Because that's all I know. I don't know about white fraternities, but I know the black fraternities have this paddle. And she found this big wooden paddle from somewhere, and she broke it on my brother. Broke it in half when she beat him. If you're telling me that that's not child abuse, then okay, you can go head on. But that's some bull. Being stripped naked, having to lay across the bed and get beat. Yeah. Okay? I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. And so I'm trying to be very patient, and it would never end with just a whooping, because my mother was very, she hold grudges against her own kids. She beat you for it. Beat you to damn near death for it. But every time she would take disobedience personally. Like, you had the nerve. I went, and that's why I felt like damn lady crazy, because she would go into these, like, I went through all this pain and labor, and then I worked 6 days a week on my feet for 12 hours a day, and you had the nerve to do X, Y, and Z. And it would just go on and on and on and on, and she would just haul off and slap you, just for the hell of it, because she just wanted to continue to punish you for what you did last week. So when I say I was abused, I was abused. Okay. And so I'm trying to use a different approach, but with Violet, she's very strong-willed, and so I have to discipline her in a way where she knows I'm not playing, because she's very much into doing what the hell she wants to do. And you can speak as sweetly and as nicely as you want, and if you think timeout is just going to be the end-all be-all, it's not. Okay? Because she's not going to sit in timeout. She's going to slide her little butt on the floor, and she's going to fall out. She's going to holler and scream, and Violet loves to do those blood-curdling screams. Oh, and she puts on a show in public, honey, because she figures you can't do anything to me in public, and if I scream to the top of my lungs, I will embarrass mommy all to pieces, because everything in my body's like, shh, Violet, shh. I'm like, please, because people start staring at you, and as much as they be the first ones to talk about don't spank your kids, don't discipline them, when your child acting like a damn fool in public, they looking at you like, you gonna handle that? You know, the same, you know, judgmental faces would look at you like, why you letting your kid act like that? Like, that child is out of control. You know what I'm saying? They the main ones, you know, looking at you sideways when your child acting a damn fool in public. And that was happening because I could control her at home, but in public, oh man. And she have this thing now that she does. I don't know where she's getting this stuff from. Like when I'm trying to talk to her, she'll be like blah 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 blah. Ah, that's what she do to me. And I'm just like, I be looking at her like, girl, you have no clue how fortunate you are to have me as your mama. Because let me tell you something, you would just be like this, no teeth. Half of the stuff she be doing to me. And I talk to her and I do spank her, you know, on occasion, but I do a lot of talking because I'm trying to teach her. You know, I'm trying to teach her that you cannot behave that way. And you know, since having Valerian, it's like getting worse because it's just like when I was pregnant, you know, I really couldn't get her, you know, and so she would take full advantage, you know. At my little baby shower luncheon, she had a tantrum because she wanted one of my friends, her husband had gifted me this really beautiful cake, and Violet wanted a piece of cake. And you know, everybody, you know, we're in social media, 21st century, we take pictures of the cake. And she's like, Mommy, I want a piece of cake. And I was like, wait, Violet, hold on a second, we taking pictures. Violet fell her ass out in the restaurant, kicking and screaming because I would not give her a piece of cake fast enough. And my mother took her to the bathroom and she said she talked to her. But I did ask Violet if Nana spanked her and she said she didn't. So she did, you know. But yeah, so I mean, my philosophy on dealing with a strong-willed child is to just be stern and be clear and concise with what you expect as far as behavior. When they misbehave, do not ignore it. Jump on it right away. Hey, stop it. And I speak to her in a very, very authoritative tone so that she knows I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? She knows I'm not playing. And now, you know, she's into TV, her movies. She loves all of the Frozen and the Boss Baby, and she's really into Shrek right now. And so that's my new punishment. Do it if you want to. I will turn this TV off. No, Mommy, don't turn the TV. I will turn this TV off. Like, she's more worried about me turning off the TV than me spanking her. I can say I'm going to spank you. Oh, don't spank me. Don't spank me. But then when I say I'm going to turn that TV off and you ain't going to be able to watch Shrek, she will fall out crying and she will come. And one thing about her, I don't know, maybe it's because of my influence, but she will come like later on and she'll be like, Mommy, I'm sorry for being disrespectful, I'm sorry for not listening. And I'd be like, okay, Violet, it's over with. And that's how I do it, because with my mom it was never over. You never knew when it was over. Hell. You know. And with her, I try to, it's over with. You got a whooping for it. You got in trouble for it. It's over with. We're not going to talk about it no more. We're done. You know? And so, you know, some days are good and some days are a challenge. It's a challenge. And so, but I try to be very clear with the rules. And if she misbehaves in any way, I jump on it. And I don't just pop her. I will sit and I'm like, do you know why Mommy spanks you? Because you did X, Y, and Z, A, B, C. That is unacceptable behavior. And you will not behave that way. She did some crap to me at church. She was sitting on the toilet and I was trying to I was trying to help her because she was about to fall in, you know, because she was on an adult toilet and she was snatching away from me. And, oh, go over there, Mommy. And I was just like, you don't do that, you know. I didn't want to whoop her in church, you know, and I don't whoop her for everything, but I was like, you don't do that. That is rude. You know. And then she had this new thing. She's nasty, you know. She spits on the floor. Wants to spit on the floor. Spit on the floor. I don't know where she's getting this crap from. And so, yeah, she's spitting and she thinks it's funny to burp and fart and just be obnoxious. And I'm just like, she's being a kid. she's being a kid, but I let her know, stop doing that, because that's nasty, you know. And so I'm talking a lot, and my husband can't stand that I talk to her so much, because he's like, you need to whoop her butt. And I'm just like, I can't beat her for everything, because if I spank Viola for things that she do, I will be beating that girl all day, and that is child abuse. And so I just don't do it. But yeah, we've been struggling, and you know, that's just how it is. You know, you do the best that you can as a parent, and not all parenting is perfect, but come on, like, there's some stuff that we clearly know is wrong that you should not be doing. And so I want her to be rooted and grounded in her own self and be independent thinking, but I also want her to be respectful of authority. My mother doesn't respect authority. She wants to be the authority, which is why she cannot keep a job. She has 5 degrees and can't work anywhere because she does not want to submit under anybody's leadership. She want to tell the people how to run their place, and you cannot do that, you know. And you know, that's one thing. I have a lot of her and a lot of my dad in me. My dad literally is just like Mr. Cool. He's everybody's friend. He's the coolest guy you ever did meet. Like, you know, it take a lot to piss him off. You know, it really do. It take a lot to piss him off, and he don't get mad about a whole lot, and he don't worry about my dad's whole philosophy in life is, I don't give a shit. And he will tell you that. I'm like, dude, you gonna let her say that? He's like, my nickname is Pinky. They don't call me Shantika, but yeah, he's like, Pinky, I just don't give a shit, you know. And that's why he could stay married to that nut for so long. And so, you know, I mean, because my upbringing has a lot to do with how I discipline, and that's why I'm completely terrified to leave Viola with any and everybody, because if you don't understand her makeup and how she is, I understand her, which is why, you know, a lot of things that come out of her mouth isn't really not meant to be rude. It's just, that's just how she feel. That's just how she feel. I just have to channel that and let her know, you could have said that a better way. You didn't have to say that the way that you said it. What you said was rude, you know. And so I have to try to get her into a space where it's a happy medium, where you can express yourself, but you need to be respectful, you know, and you need to respect folk. And so yeah, so we're working on it, you know. Every day ain't perfect, but yeah, the girl is a trip. And I honestly think that Valerian is going to be the calm. The way that she is now, I don't know, she's a newborn, she's only 2 months old, so I don't know. But Viola, I could tell very early on that she was going to be a handful, because when she would get upset as an infant, she would grab her little hair and she would shake her fist and get red. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna be a trip. And Valerian would just like yell. I call her my yelling child, because she just sit there and holler, ah. Okay, you pick me up, she's cool. As soon as I pick her up, she's like, hum. She did that to my husband last night, because, you know, Valerian is attached to me, you know, and my husband, you know, he was trying to get out of, you know how when you know, buy a bunch of groceries, and then you unload the car, and then you put it in the house, and you're like, oh, I gotta put all of this stuff away. Well, he was trying to get out of putting the groceries away, and so he's like, I'm gonna hold the baby. Well, Valerian was like, hell, I don't want you, I want my mama. And Valerian, he did everything. He tried to feed her, he tried to rock her, he tried to give her the passy. Valerian was like, I want my mama. And he was just like, what's wrong with her? I said, she want her mama. I'm her daddy. I said, I know, but I'm with her 24/7. You know, you're not with her that much. And when you're home, you only hold her for like a couple of minutes, and then you hand her back to me. You know, she really don't know you, you know, like that. You know, she want mama. She sleep with me. That's the only way I can get this little girl to sleep. Like, she did good last night. Why? Because she was asleep next to me in the bed. You know, she sleep for a long time in the bed. Like, she gave me 4.5 hours last night. 4.5 hours she gave me, that baby. Yes, she did. In my bed. In her bed, the longest she will sleep at night is maybe 2.5 hours. That's it. If I put her in the bed with me, that's it. She'll sleep. So yeah, So that's what's been going on. And so if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And you know, I just come in every now and then and chit chat with y'all. And so yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna get these oxtails in the crock pot so they can start working its magic and doing what it does, so it'll be ready for dinner time tonight. And I will see you guys.